what I want to do today is I just want to introduce what the plan is for MicroBiz. I want to go through the program with you all and tell you what's expected. And then what we'll do is, if okay, we will do some questions at the end. Does that sound okay?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Right, okay. So, let's get started. So first of all, MicroBiz. Oh, sorry. My name, by the way, is Simon Clinton, for those who don't know me. MicroBiz is something quite unique. It's something the university hasn't done before. And I'm not sure how many other universities have done this. So it's quite a unique venture for us. And the plan is that we're looking to create a group of entrepreneurs, undergraduate entrepreneurs. And when we say entrepreneur, obviously we mean we're looking for people who are going to create a business, they're going to go through all the planning stage, then they're going to launch it, and then hopefully become profitable. And then from there, to tell it to you guys how you want to run from that. So that's the plan. So, a bit of a mission statement here. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
So our mission is to help you create an active, profitable business with our 16-week program. So as I said, this is something completely new, completely different. It's not a university course, so it is about, we're going to be working with you, but this is not a university course, and there will be a certificate at the end for everybody who passes the course. So, we have a term here where we say entrepreneurs are made, not born, and we do believe that, nobody's born entrepreneur. It's something that we acquire, it's through skills, through experience, and that's how we see this is important for everybody who wants to take part in this. It's entirely up to you how you put this forward. We're going to provide the resources, we're going to provide the training, we're going to give you access to industry professionals as well as companies, and ultimately you're going to grow your own business. And I say we're going to be there every step of the way with you. So we're going to break it down into 4 key areas. And it starts with research. That's the first part, where we're going to have a look at actually how we form your business idea. We're going to look at stuff, your marketing aims and your objectives, all that kind of thing. And then from that, we're then going to create the business. And that means actually creating a brand identity, creating your website. We're going to look at the products you're going to buy and sell. Then we launch it, take it to the bigger world, and then we're going to look at how we're going to market your business, whether using social media, blogs, whatever that is. And then finally, how we grow that business in terms of looking at cash flow, bringing people on board and stuff. But I'll speak more in detail in a bit about all this area. So what is the actual opportunity that we're offering you today? There's going to be 16 weekly workshops. Now, as it stands at the moment, these workshops will be delivered online as we're doing now. Should the situation change with the university, we'll obviously go to a classroom, but as it stands at the moment, we will deliver these workshops as we're doing them now. And across that's across 26 modules, which I'll go into greater detail in a minute. And that's across the 4 phases, which I've already talked about: discover, create, launch, and grow. So how does it work? Well, if you sign up, first of all, you'll get access to expert advice and guidance by a team of business professionals. Everybody involved with MicroBiz has their own business or has been involved in developing an enterprise in the past. So we've all been there with experience, starting from scratch, define our target market, looking for products and services, and then going out there. You are going to get access to what I would say is the elite of the university in terms of developing and growing a business. As I said already, we're going to have weekly online workshops. These are going to be housed on Blackboard. And there's also going to be a number of learning resources and worksheets on there. You will get a planner to work through each aspect of your business. There'll be videos and all sorts of report stuff on there as well. You're also going to get your own mentor, which we're calling a biz buddy. And we've got a group of people, a real eager bunch of people who want to work with you guys on this. Again, each has come from an entrepreneurial background, so you're getting first-hand experience of how to grow a business, but they will work on a one-to-one basis with you, either face-to-face or say online. We're also going to have a monthly MicroBiz mastermind group, and this is where we all get together and we all share what's been happening, progress in our business. It's also an opportunity to talk about any problems or issues we're having at the moment, whether we can practice, it's a chance for us to all get together, because the one thing that we don't want, even though we are online with it, is anybody to feel like they're on their own. You know, we're doing this as a group, as a team, and we're putting that support in there for you as well. We're going to have a range of guest speakers and guest workshops as well, from the leading industries, e-commerce, social media, search marketing, business and financial planning. We've got some great companies involved, Visualsoft, Aero Network, Mabel Media, to name but a few. But again, these are people who are actually living and breathing in the e-commerce online business industry, and you know, they're going to come in and do some workshops as well. So it's not just my ugly mug you're going to be seeing week on week, you're going to get a mix of people as well. So ultimately, as I said already, you're going to create your own unique business plan, your own unique venture that you're going to take forward, and then you're going to launch it, and that's the plan basically. How does all that sound so far?
Exciting.
Good. That's what I like to hear. And one thing else, we're going to give you the opportunity to pitch for actual grant funding as well. Now then, I'll explain in a minute, but there'll be a point in which you will need to prepare a presentation, a pitch presentation, and it's almost like Dragon's Den style. But there is some funding available, and this will help you to move forward in your business in terms of, you know, if you've got to buy any advertising or any kind of blogs or anything like that, that will help you as well and support you. So this is what the program looks like. Workshop 1, we're going to be looking at defining your why. What is the reason why you want to be doing this business? You know, what are your feelings about having your own business online? And then we're going to look at your aims and objectives. So what the business aims are, i.e. what you want to achieve out this venture, and then what your marketing objectives are. And I'm sure you've mostly come across the SMART model, and that's what we're going to be working on in Workshop 1. Workshop 2, we're going to be looking at which products you can sell. We've got access to a range of distributors and manufacturers from across the world, which we will help you into. You might come on board and say, do you know what, I've got my own suppliers. That's entirely fine, it's entirely up to you. I say we're there to help as well if possible. We're then going to evaluate your idea, so make sure it's market ready, make sure there actually is a market out there for your product and service, because obviously what we don't want is to launch your online store and then find nobody buys. And then we're going to look at how we actually source that product. You know, is it the case that it's about drop shipping, where somebody houses those goods for you, and as and when people buy, they just then send them out for you, or whether you've got to store them yourself? So we'll cover all that in Workshop 2. And then in Workshop 3, we're going to look at identifying your ideal customer. You know, who is your target market, who you actually sell to, and we're also going to research your competition as well. And then from that, from your customers, your competitors, we then look at defining your position statement. What makes you different from all the other online businesses that are selling similar kind of products? Then it's at that point you're going to pitch for funding. It's at that point you're going to go away and I say, put together a presentation. And obviously you're going to talk about what you've done so far and also what your plans are moving forward. From that, if you're successful, you'll then move on to Workshop 4. And that's where we're going to look at how you name your business, looking at your brand identity, define those keywords for your SEO and your website and so forth. Workshop 5, we're then going to look at your platform. So when we say platform, we mean what is going to be your online store. So obviously there's loads of them on the market. We've got stuff like Shopify, you've got Amazon, you've got eBay, Squarespace or WordPress. There's also a number of third-party networks we can use. So it's at that point you're going to choose which is the best platform to you to sell your products and reach your market. We're then going to build your store. So again, there's going to be plenty of training on how to actually physically build your store, add the products in there, make it look good. Workshop 6, we're looking at creating your content, so whether it's blog posts, whether it's your web copy, whether it's social media posts, whatever that is, we're going to look at how we actually create that and get engagement and start to grow and nurture your customer base. Then we're going to look at some search engine optimization. So this is the thing that goes on the kind of coding behind the website. And thankfully, most of the platforms we're looking at already has an inbuilt SEO module in there, which will help us. But we're also going to look at off-site as well, how we get links back to our websites, whether it is blog posts, case studies, whatever that looks like. Workshop 7, we're then going to use some user research, which is basically we'll test your website on some focus groups or friends and family, whatever, just to make sure everything works, make sure it makes sense, and it's ready to go out there and be launched. Then we're going to look at what we call creating your funnel. And this is basically the system you're going to use, the process you're going to use from taking someone who knows nothing about your business, nothing about your brand, and turning them into a warm, hot prospect that hopefully will buy. And this kind of covers 3 main areas. So first of all, we're going to start with owned media. This is the media that you own yourself, such as your website, your social media, your blogging, whether it's video. Following on from that, we then look at something called earned media. And that's where we start to grow our communities, whether it's online in a Facebook group or on LinkedIn or, back in your own forum, we have our website. Anywhere we can actually grow that audience before we start selling our products to them. And then finally, we have paid media, and this is stuff like your Google search, so your click ads, My Business, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere where we're actually buying advertising space online or offline to drive traffic back to your website. Workshop 10, we're then going to look at Google Analytics, which is really important. We're going to look at how we actually measure the effectiveness of your website, where your visitors are coming from, which content is working the best, and that will give you that kind of grounding going forward when you're planning your next marketing campaign as to who you're going to target, what works and what doesn't work as well. Workshop 11, we're then going to look at CRMs, and for this we're going to look at HubSpot. There's going to be some training on using HubSpot, which is one of the market leaders at the moment for customer relationship management systems, and this will give you a portal where you can manage your customers. You'll keep data on there, you can see where they're coming from, how often they buy, you can actually plug it into your email system as well, so you can track all their emails. So that's in Workshop 11. Workshop 12, it's then looking at planning your marketing campaign, again, whether it's online or offline, so we're looking across the plethora of stuff, brand identity, digital marketing, traditional marketing, TV, press, radio, PR, looking across the board, all the things, all the channels and all the tools that you can use specifically for your business. Workshop 13, this is where it gets a bit scary. This is where we're going to look at accounting and financial planning. We've got a speaker coming in who's an accountant, so she's going to go through a workshop on how we actually plan our finances, our cash flow, and keep an eye on that kind of thing. And also, look at our cash flow set. Workshop 14, it's then about recruitment and retention. And that's the point where hopefully you are making cash in your business, things are starting to work, and it could be the case, we need more help here, we need more people on board, so we're going to look at how we recruit people and retention. And then that's where the program is completed. And at that point, it's entirely up to you. Close the business. What we'd like you to see is to go on and flourish. But in terms of our support at this stage, that's the program that we'd like to offer. How does all that sound?
Good, interesting.
Yeah, it sounds interesting.
Brilliant. So,
interesting.
The outcome. Well, basically, the outcome is up to you. This is all based on you guys. We're giving you the opportunity to start an online business, grow an online venture, but ultimately, it's what you want to make of it. As I said earlier, this is not a university course. The university are partners in this scheme, and obviously we've got all the great resources that we can use. And I see you're getting access to business people, to entrepreneurs to help you grow that. So at this point, I'm going to ask, are there any questions? Any concerns?
Hi, Simon. Am I right in thinking that the whole program lasts 14 weeks?
Say again, sorry?
So does the whole program last 14 weeks?
The whole program should last about 16 weeks.
16. Okay.
So with that in mind, one thing I need to say is that we will be working through the Easter holidays. Now, when I say working through, you will have a workshop over the 3 weeks that the university is closed for 3 weeks. We will be running a workshop during that time.
Right.
But obviously, it's going to be online anyway with the way things are at the moment, so you can log in from home or wherever you might be.
Perfect. And how long is each workshop?
It varies. The plan is we've actually recorded the workshops already, so they'll be on Blackboard. So what will happen is we're going to be launching the first workshop tomorrow after we've run this webinar. The first workshop runs tomorrow, and that's a chance for you to get on there and actually watch it. So instead of us sat in the classroom and talking at you, you will see the teaching first before we get involved. So you'll always be a week ahead, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you'll get access to the first module tomorrow, and then we'll meet again this time next week, where we'll be recapping on the modules so far. What I didn't want it to be was just me stood at the front with a load of slides talking at you. It's more the case that every time we meet in a workshop environment, it's going to be, you know, an opportunity for all of us to input and see what's been happening, what we've been thinking about, and obviously ask any questions. So just to go back to your original question, in terms of how long, I would imagine you're probably looking at anything from an hour to 3 hours absolute max, you know, in terms of how it goes.
Simon?
Yes.
Lizzie.
Hi, Lizzie.
Just had a question from Carly, whose mic's not working.
Okay.
Carly's asked if it gets through to the knockout round, can you still continue the workshop after the pitch?
Sorry, if you get through to the
pitching, the knockout round.
Yeah.
If they don't get through, can they still continue?
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. Good question, actually. Yes. The pitching round is basically there. It's not there to kind of say, no, you're not going to do this. It's basically there to say there is some funding available. Now, obviously, there's not an unlimited pot of cash there. So we need to, you know, we need to kind of say, well, there's only, at this stage, we don't know yet, is to be honest answer. But yeah, by all means, yeah, we'd love you to continue. It's not the case that at that point, if you don't get funding, you've finished. It's not like that at all.
Great.
Right. Simon?
Yes.
Is this geared very much for people who are looking to have an online shop with products to sell on the shop? Or can you be considering a service that might then be for sale, like a service that's like a pop-up at an events, for example? Or is it just a shop?
To be honest with you, at this stage, it's an online business is what we're saying. But obviously, if you've got kind of a physical presence as well, yeah, we can see it working. I think what we want to do with this is our ultimate goal is to create, you know, businesses from undergraduate students. That is the ultimate plan in this.
Right.
You know, now obviously a lot of the teaching and the workshops are going to be geared towards, you know, having an online store and so forth.
Yeah.
But at this stage, you know, we're open to ideas. It just seemed the most logical in terms of how we could run a workshop, you know, in terms of how we could offer that. But yeah, absolutely, we wouldn't turn anybody away. If you've got a business idea, you know, we want to hear it and we want to help you and we want to support you and get off the ground.
Okay, thank you.
I was just going to add there to Susie's comment that anything that you learn in this MicroBiz Academy can be applied to any business anyway.
Yes.
Right.
I think
at the moment, most of them online anyway, aren't they?
Sorry, say again?
Yeah.
At the moment, most of them online anyway, aren't they? So
I think
it does apply.
What you'll find is the first kind of 4 or 5 workshops are kind of looking at just business in general and set up a business, you know, all the things we need to cover, such as, you know, your name, your brand, aims and objectives, who your target audience is, what your proposition is, which you would apply to any business. And, you know, in what I do in my day-to-day as a coach, you know, it's where I always start with my clients, you know, analyse where you are now, what you want to be, what you do, long before we look at actually taking online or in a physical shop retail presence.
Carly's just made a comment. I'm going to be her spokesperson because
go for it. Yeah,
she's just said it might be very difficult to get a face-to-face business off the ground at this point with the current climate and virus situation.
Yeah.
Really good point.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough for the next few months anyway, isn't it? In business generally, I think. It's just a good point.
Yeah,
if you're selling toilet paper, you might do well.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper and hand sanitizer is the business to have at the moment.
And pasta.
Whether it's online or offline, if you've got access to that, just go for it. Yeah. And by the way, if you have got access to toilet roll and hand sanitizer, I want shares in that business. Just say. Any other questions?
Yeah, are you going to actually go through the structure of like stakeholders and stuff like that, or not yet? Because I know it's like more of like a future thing, like depending on how big your businesses grows.
In terms of we will cover stuff like the stakeholders and that kind of thing, because obviously that kind of comes in with your target audience. So yeah, there will be elements of that in there. Having said that, what I would say is, we've mapped out the course, we've recorded it now, so it's there on video. But having said that, we're taking a bit of a learning experience as well ourselves. So if it comes out of the group meeting that there's something that we haven't done, we'll go and do it. We'll get together. So yeah, if anything comes out, any issues, any problems or something, there's a question asked that we haven't covered in this program, we'll go out and find it. So yeah, if it's the case it's not covered, be assured we will cover it or we'll get access to it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Not from me.
Are we all happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting.
Good. I'm pleased. That's what we want. As I say, this is something quite unique to the university, and I'm not sure. I don't know, Lizzie knows, but I'm not sure whether anybody else does anything like this at the moment.
No, I think it's a unique program.
Absolutely. So we're really excited by it. Obviously it's a shame with the way things are at the moment externally, but having said that, we've got the technology, we've got the people in place. So we just need the numbers, and we'll deliver it.
Yeah. And it might be worth mentioning just about Launchpad support as well. That everybody will be part of Launchpad as well. You come through the MicroBiz Academy, you're still part of the Launchpad community, and you'll get support going forward after the MicroBiz ends as well. Should your business grow?
It's a good point, actually. I was thinking that when I was saying that the program ends after workshop 14, it's not the case that your business ends. It's not about that at all. It's obviously we need to start and a finish. But ultimately that support will still be there, and especially through Launchpad who offer amazing support. And I know I would say that, but I generally mean that, one of the better universities around here for offering business support.
Yeah.
So it is the case that, if you're making money, the last thing we're going to do is say, right, close it down at the end of the, as far as we're concerned, if we can make profitable businesses, you'll be thoroughly encouraged to continue.
Yeah.
And you'll be supported with that as well across the board, whatever you need.
By the way, with the funding at Workshop 3, does that come with any pitfalls in the uni owns percentage of business or anything like that, or is it just simply like a donation?
No, not at all. As it stands at the moment, that money will be for your business. I mean, obviously what we would say is there will be some terms and conditions in there in terms of how you spend that cash, and you've got to show us what you've spent it on. But no, it doesn't mean that the university suddenly say we've got a slice of your business because we give you this cash. Absolutely not. It's more the case, we want to support you. We thought we'd put that as an incentive, to get people to that first stage. I mean, who knows? If things take off, we might bring outside investors in. I don't know at this stage. There are a number of grants and opportunities out there we might, get access to as well. Who knows? We just wanted to incentivise it, because obviously when you move at the stage where you're trying to promote your business and we're looking at online advertising, it's nice to have some cash in there. So that's the whole reason why,
Thank you.
Yes.
Carly's asked how many different microbiz are going to get funding from the scheme. So how many are we going to give money to?
My honest answer at this stage is we don't know, because we haven't got a firm figure on what that funding is going to be yet. So that's my honest answer. But as soon as we do know, I promise you we will let you know. We'll put an announcement out on Blackboard as soon as we know. The more the better, obviously.
We'll try and give, won't we? We'll try and give money to those businesses that are proving to be validated.
Yes.
And they're not going to be huge pots of money, just to add, they're only going to be sort of a smallish amount, aren't they? I believe.
Yes.
But enough to get you started on advertising or buying your first stock.
And get some stock in, yeah.
We need to discuss that in the pitch, how much we think we would need to set up advertising and stocks and stuff like that.
It would be useful. Obviously, at that stage, it'd be nice that if you were thinking about that. I said earlier, one of the models we're going to be looking at for the online business is a model called drop shipping. Now, the premise behind that with drop shipping is that actually you don't buy in stock. It's housed at your manufacturer, your warehouse. And you basically pay for it when you've sold it.
Yeah.
So, if let's say, I don't know, beach balls, for example, you sell a beach ball online, you then go to your dropshipper and pay for that beach ball, and they send it out for you on your behalf. And that's the kind of model we're looking at, because obviously we're conscious that you guys are students, there's not a massive resource of cash there, but it's also about lean thinking as well, about thinking about how you adapt from nothing and make something, if that makes sense. That's a learning process in this. So, it's not about going out there and saying, I've got 50 grand to spend. It's more the case of how you can use the resources you've got, the tools you've got, to start up and grow a business.
Mm-hmm. When do we meet on mentors, by the way?
That will happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks. Once we get the course up and running, once we get the program running, that will happen then. You will get allocated, or, it might be the case that we sit down, and say, right then, what kind of mentor do you want? What kind of person would you like to work with? I say we've got about a dozen mentors at the moment, all people who are interested. And that's from business background, we've got people at university, and obviously ourselves as well. So, yeah, there's a right mix in there of people you can work with.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Brilliant. That's good. Well, as I say, you might go away now and think, oh gosh, I really asked this, I really want to know this. Don't worry. You've got my email address, so by all means, please email me with any questions, concerns, anything you've got. What I will do is, if I get any questions back, I'll obviously put them on Blackboard as well, so everybody can see what's being said and what the answer is. What I do need to know now, though, is if you are keen and you want to go ahead with it, I just need an email to say, yes, count me in. Because I say we need numbers to make this work, to make it go forward. So if you are planning on being part of the MicroBiz, this historic event, totally unique, blah blah blah, send me an email and say, yes, count me in. I'm definitely interested, and you will then be added, and we'll take it from there.
Simon, are we going to talk about the next the workshop that's going to be online between now and the next week? We're going to put the workshop online so work can start between now and the next one.
Yes, yeah, no, I said that earlier. Basically,
sorry.
No, it's okay. I said we're going to Blackboard is up and running, and the first workshop will be on there as of tomorrow, and that is a video workshop. Yeah. And that's going to be based on what we discussed, looking at your why and your aims and objectives. There'll also be an introduction to the program again, as you'll see. What I'll also do is I'll put this on as well, because I do believe, fingers crossed, that this is recorded as well. So I'll put access to this as well, so you've got all 3 on there. But yeah, it literally starts as soon as you give me, yeah, I'm interested, I want to do this. You'll then get access to Blackboard, and it will start tomorrow. And we will meet again this time next week to discuss what's been happening.